Hello, how you doing? I like to give you 10 suggestions if you are homeless, if you're a homeless individual. Um, I think if you're homeless and you're poor, they almost synonyms. They're one and the same thing. There's still issues out there. And you know what? You shouldn't judge yourself too harshly if you're homeless or poor. I've heard of millionaires who had Mercedes becoming poor. And you know what? I see in the public record people who have money can't even pay the water bill. I see that too. Okay, look. Analyze why you were homeless, poor. What kind of mistakes did you make? Did you spend too much, buy too much? You didn't watch your money. You did not add, subtract, multiply, and divide your money. What kind of mistakes did you make to bring you to that point where you were either homeless or poor, or you could be homeless by choice? You just say, okay, look, I'm gonna live out of a van. Okay. Um, if maybe you do need to get another job, get a job and a half. Maybe you do need to do that until you get yourself out of the situation. I would suggest you pay all the people who you owe, credit card debt, etc. If you owe the mechanic, pay them. If you owe the hospital bill, sometimes the hospital will allow you to work out a payment plan. Sometimes they do that. Number 4, if you have no children, maybe you need to move into an efficiency for a cheap apartment. Number 5, aggressively save your money. I'm suggesting $20 a month. I'm suggesting save at least $5 if you have children. A month if you have children. Number 6, like I said, you know, if you have children, maybe you can live in a cheaper apartment. But I know if you're a parent of a lot of children, you have to be cognizant of the type of neighborhood that you live in. Whether you have children or not, I do suggest that you live cheap. You pay cash for just about everything. Sometimes you have to give up the Netflix. If you have 3 cars, you have to ask yourself, do you need all 3 cars? Number 8, I think is the most important, is that you buy real estate. I would like to see all parents buy their children a lot on their 18th birthday. I would like to see all parents do that. Buy real estate. Now, if you go buy a $350,000 house, that is not your economy. What you're doing is lying to yourself that is your economy. That is not your economy, a $350,000 home. So I suggest you look at the tax delinquent properties, abandoned properties, so this won't happen again. Just buy a lot, and you can park on it, so this type of situation won't happen again. The problem with the police have is when you park on property that you don't own. But if you own a lot somewhere and you're parking on it, you can just show the police your title deed to the property. I suggest you move. Okay, some states you cannot afford. You cannot afford Washington State. You cannot afford California, Hawaii, Washington D.C., Massachusetts. I don't know why poor people are crowded up in Massachusetts. I guess because they have those generous welfare benefits. Okay, you see that among Central American illegals. They crowd into these cities like Philadelphia and Boston, and definitely California, all of Texas, all of California. Why? Because those particular states have generous welfare benefits. Okay, so they can live off the government. All of them live off welfare here, where I'm from. All of them. I don't see any of them working. Uncle Sam pays the rent for all Central Americans. Uncle Sam pays the mortgage for all Central Americans. Bye. Okay. But you may move to, there are 50 states. I always tell people there are 50 states. Cheaper states than what you're living in. Now, there was this man, he was getting a big check, but he lived in the basement in Washington, D.C. The basement was cold, damp, and dry. Now he's getting a big check, so he could actually, move to West Virginia and live like a king. But he's living like a rat in D.C. because of his, check. If you're poor, move to a poor state. There's a lot of states that have a lot of tax delinquent property. Jackson, Mississippi, Indiana, Ohio, Oklahoma. They have a lot of abandoned properties. So I suggest you move to any one of those cities. I was middle class, and then separation happened. I became poor. But, I made adjustments. I went from $200 a month in groceries, which no problem to have, to $63 a month in groceries. Now, back then, 20 years ago, $200 buy you a lot of food. It won't buy you that much now, but 20 years ago, it bought quite a bit of food. That's not including snacks, okay? But I made adjustments. I went $63 a month. I made adjustments. Yeah, you can buy some nice clothes at a thrift shop. You'll get used to shopping there too, okay? You make adjustments. And besides, I know how to be poor because I grew up poor. Poverty is nothing to fear. You make adjustments. You adjust to poverty. And you take like the people in India. They have a mud hut with a straw. But look, they are actually better off than the homeless in California, because at least they live in a village. At least they do have a house with a straw roof. And ditto for the Africans. They have a mud hut made of straw. Okay. We can live with less. I do recommend you stay out of the expensive states: California, Hawaii, Washington State, Florida, Massachusetts. Okay. Don't borrow for any reason. Don't borrow money. Borrow serving to the lender. It's more trouble than what you want. Okay. I do suggest you get a YouTube channel. You get a hustle. Maybe you can get some kind of business. You need to think while you're poor. You need to make a list what kind of businesses you should have. What are your goals for the next 2 to 3, 5 years? What kind of business do you want? That's what make a list, make a goal. But I think one of the most important things in this list is to buy real estate. Buy yourself a lot. Buy yourself an abandoned property or tax-linked property. That's the most important step, because you don't want this to happen again. Have a nice day.